High in the eastern highlands of Ethiopia, a land of ancient stories and breathtaking vistas, lies a mountain shrouded in mystery. This is Kundudo, a name that seems to be carried on the very air that sweeps across its rugged peaks. It is a place where the sky feels closer, the earth feels older, time itself seems to slow. For centuries, local people have spoken of strange and wonderful things upon this mountain, from sacred caves to spirits that guard the land. But a living, breathing wonder roams these slopes, a secret held by the mountain for generations, a herd of wild horses, untamed and free, living their lives far from the reach of humankind. These are not just any horses. They are a ghost-like presence, a fleeting glimpse of russet, a flash of gray against the green and gold of the high plateau. To see them is to witness a fragment of a forgotten world. They are a testament to the resilience of nature, a symbol of wildness in a world that is becoming increasingly tamed. The story of the Kundudo horses is a journey into one of Africa's last truly wild places, a story of survival against the odds. It begins here, on this solitary mountain, where the clouds gather like great herds of their own, and the wind whispers tales of the creatures that call this extraordinary place home. The journey to find them is not an easy one. It requires a long and arduous climb, up winding paths that cling to the mountainside. With every step upwards, the modern world falls away, replaced by the raw, unfiltered beauty of the natural world. The air grows thin and crisp, carrying the scent of wild herbs and damp earth. It is in this profound isolation that the horses have managed to endure, their existence a well-kept secret for so long. We are about to step into their world, to quietly observe the life of Ethiopia's last wild horses. They are the true kings and queens of this mountain, their domain a sprawling expanse of rock, grass, and sky, a kingdom built on freedom. As we ascend into their world, a sense of anticipation builds. What will they look like? How do they live in such a challenging environment? The habitat of the Kundudo horses is a world unto itself, a spectacular landscape perched more than 3,000 meters above sea level. This is not the Africa of sprawling, sun-baked savannas that many imagine. Instead, it is a high-altitude plateau, rolling green hills, dramatic cliffs, deep, shadowy gorges. The weather here is a character in its own right, capable of changing in an instant. One moment the sun bathes the grasslands in a warm, golden light. The next, a thick blanket of fog rolls in, swallowing the entire landscape and muffling all sound. This kingdom in the clouds is a mosaic of different environments: open fields of lush grass, nourished by the seasonal rains, rocky outcrops, patches of hardy, low-lying shrubs, ancient forests of juniper, olive trees clinging to the lower slopes and ravines. Water, the lifeblood of any ecosystem, carves its way through the plateau. Small streams, fed by mountain springs, weave through the grasslands. After a heavy rain, temporary pools form in the hollows of rocks, glistening like scattered jewels. The horses know the location of every reliable water source, their movements often dictated by the need to drink. The views from this high plateau are simply breathtaking. On a clear day, one can see for miles across a patchwork of farmland and villages in the valleys far below, all the way to the ancient city of Harar. This vantage point is not just beautiful, it is a strategic advantage for the horses. From these heights, they can spot potential danger from a great distance. A sudden noise or an unfamiliar scent will cause every head in the herd to lift in unison, their bodies tensing, ready to flee in an instant. Yet in moments of peace, they display a profound sense of tranquility. Watching them graze quietly as the sun sets over the mountains, it is clear that this is where they belong. They are not just living on the mountain, they are a part of it. The Kundudo horses themselves are a sight to behold, possessing a rugged beauty forged by their wild existence. They are not large and powerfully built like many domestic breeds. Instead, they are of a more compact and wiry stature, their bodies lean and muscular, perfectly adapted for navigating the steep and uneven terrain of their mountain home. Their coats are a beautiful tapestry of earthy colors, shades of bay, chestnut, gray, and dun, which allows them to blend almost seamlessly into the landscape. Long, flowing manes and tails whip in the constant mountain wind, giving them an untamed and noble appearance. Their eyes are dark, intelligent, and full of a wild spirit. Life in the herd is governed by a complex and fascinating social structure. The horses live in small family groups known as bands, which typically consist of a dominant stallion, several mares, and their young foals. The stallion's role is crucial. He is the protector and leader of the band. He watches tirelessly for any sign of danger and will fiercely defend his family from any perceived threat. He also guides their daily movements, leading them from the sheltered valleys where they rest at night to the open pastures where they graze during the day. Within the band, the mares form a tight-knit community, their relationships built on strong social bonds that can last a lifetime. An older, experienced mare often acts as the lead mare, deciding the precise grazing spots and the pace of the group's travel. There is a clear hierarchy, but it is one maintained not through aggression, but through subtle communication, a flick of an ear, a swish of a tail, a gentle nudge. They groom each other, a behavior that reinforces their bonds and helps to keep their coats clean. The foals born into this secure and nurturing environment are playful and curious, always under the watchful eyes of their mothers and the other adults. The story of how these horses came to be wild on Kundudo Mountain is a captivating piece of Ethiopian history, a tale woven from threads of conquest, royalty, and the enduring power of nature. Their origins aren't prehistoric. Their historical accounts say some elite cavalry horses escaped or were deliberately released. Maybe they broke free from tethers during a storm, or maybe they were simply left behind when no longer needed. A small group of domestic horses suddenly found themselves free, their bond with humankind severed. The mountain became their unexpected sanctuary. Left to fend for themselves, these ancestors had to quickly adapt or perish. They learned to find their own food, locate safe water, and defend against predators they'd never met. It was a brutal test of survival, and only the strongest, cleverest, and most adaptable made it through those first years. No longer soldiers' mounts, they became pioneers of a new wild lineage. Generation after generation was born into freedom. They grew truly feral, body and behavior reshaped by high-altitude pressure. Shedding the last vestiges of domestication, they became wild in spirit and form. Their origin adds romanticism and historical weight. They are not just wild animals, they are living relics of a pivotal era, a legacy of an emperor's army, now roaming free as the wind on their mountain throne. The daily life of a Kundudo horse is, honestly, an endless cycle dictated by the fundamental needs of survival: finding food, securing water, staying safe. Their day typically begins just before dawn, in the sheltered lower slopes and forested ravines where they've spent the night protected from the cold and wind. As the first light spills over the horizon, the lead stallion rouses the band. They begin their steady trek upwards, climbing towards the open pastures of the high plateau. This daily migration is a crucial strategy. It lets them exploit different parts of their territory for rest and for sustenance. Grazing is their primary activity, occupying much of the day. They're herbivores. They eat the plateau's grasses and sedges. They move slowly across the grasslands, their strong teeth tearing and grinding tough plant matter. Their digestion is incredibly efficient, extracting maximum nutrients from low-quality food. In the wet season, the grass is lush and plentiful, but in dry months they travel further and eat tougher, drier stalks to survive. Finding water is another critical daily task. The mountain has springs and streams, though those sources can diminish during prolonged dry spells. The horses remember every reliable water hole. The journey to water is a time of heightened vulnerability. Predators may lie in wait. The herd approaches cautiously, the stallion takes the lead, scanning for danger, then the mares and foals are allowed to drink their fill. As evening approaches, the rhythm shifts. After a final grazing, the herd descends from the exposed plateau back to their sheltered resting spots. Seeking cover at night is vital protection. It shields them from the biting cold of high-altitude nights and makes them less visible to nocturnal predators like hyenas. Within the safety of trees or rocky hollows, they rest. Some standing, some lying down, with a few individuals always remaining watchful. This vigilance and deep knowledge of their environment lets them endure day after day in their wild mountain kingdom. The Kundudo horses hold a truly special place, one of the very few and perhaps the last remaining populations of truly wild horses on the entire continent. While Africa is famous for its zebras, the striped members of the horse family, the existence of a feral horse population like this is exceptionally rare. The only other widely recognized wild horse population is the Namib desert horse in Namibia, but the Kundudo herd remains far less known and studied. They are a forgotten chapter in the story of Africa's wild equines. What makes them so different from other wild horses is their specific lineage and isolation. American Mustang, Australian Brumby, Mustangs and Brumbies descend from a wide variety of domestic horse breeds brought by European settlers, resulting in a diverse gene pool. Over a century of isolation on a single mountain has likely produced distinct traits and adaptations. Their adaptation to high-altitude life sets them apart. Living around 3,000 meters brings lower oxygen levels and extreme temperature swings. Over generations, they've likely developed larger lung capacity and more efficient circulation. Their compact, sturdy build favors agility and endurance rather than size and speed on open plains. They are a breed sculpted by the mountain itself. That genetic isolation makes them incredibly valuable for conservation. They represent an irreplaceable gene pool, a living library of survival and adaptation. Studying their DNA could reveal how quickly domestic animals adapt to wild existence and how they cope with high-altitude pressures. They are not just a curiosity, they are vital for scientific research and a poignant reminder of nature's resilience. The wild horses of Kundudo are a living testament to the fact that even in the 21st century, there are still secrets to be discovered and wonders to be protected. Despite their isolation and resilience, the Kundudo horses face a growing number of threats that cast a shadow over their future. Perhaps the most significant danger comes from the slow, steady encroachment of human activity. As the population in the surrounding valleys grows, so does the demand for land. Farmland is creeping further up the slopes of the mountain, shrinking the horses' habitat and reducing the available grazing land. This increasing proximity to human settlements also brings the risk of conflict, as the horses may be seen as competitors for resources by local farmers. Another pressing threat is the potential for genetic degradation through interbreeding. As human settlements get closer, the chances of the wild stallions encountering domestic mares, or of domestic stallions finding their way into the herd, increases. Such interbreeding would dilute the unique gene pool that makes the Kundudo horses so special. It would slowly erode the specific adaptations they have developed over more than a century of isolation, effectively undoing the natural process that has made them the tough, mountain-hardy creatures they are today. Preserving their genetic integrity is paramount to ensuring their long-term survival as a distinct population. Climate change also poses a serious, if less immediate, threat to their mountain kingdom. Changes in rainfall patterns could lead to more frequent and prolonged droughts, diminishing the availability of both food and water on the plateau. A harsher dry season would put immense strain on the herd, potentially weakening individuals and reducing birth rates. Conversely, more extreme weather events such as unusually heavy rains could cause soil erosion and landslides, damaging the very landscape they depend on. Their entire ecosystem is delicately balanced, and climatic shifts could easily disrupt it. Finally, while natural predators like hyenas have always been a part of their world, the changing landscape can alter this balance. As natural habitats shrink, predators may be forced into smaller territories, potentially increasing their encounters with the horse population. The horse's survival has always depended on their ability to outmaneuver and evade these threats, but increased pressure from all sides, human, climatic, and predatory, could stretch their resilience to its breaking point. The shadows are gathering, and the future of these magnificent animals is far from certain without our help. The responsibility for protecting the Kundudo wild horses and their mountain home falls to a dedicated few who recognize their immense value. Chief among these guardians are the local Oromo communities who have lived alongside these animals for generations. For many, the horses are not just wildlife, they are a source of pride, a symbol of their region's unique heritage and natural beauty. These communities hold the key to successful conservation, as their support and involvement are essential. Efforts are underway to work with local people, highlighting the potential for ecotourism to provide economic benefits, transforming the horses from potential competitors into a valued community asset. Conservation organizations, local and international, are also beginning to turn their attention to this forgotten herd. Their first step is often research, to better understand the horse's population size, social dynamics, genetic health, and specific habitat needs. By fitting a few individuals with non-invasive tracking collars, scientists can learn about their movement patterns, mapping out the full extent of their territory. This data is crucial for developing effective conservation strategies, identifying the most critical areas to protect from agricultural expansion, and establishing corridors that allow the horses to move freely. One of the most important conservation goals is to achieve official protection for Kundudo Mountain. Designating the area as a national park or a community conservation area would provide a legal framework to prevent further habitat loss and to manage human activities in a sustainable way. This would not only safeguard the future of the horses, but also protect the mountain's rich biodiversity and its vital water sources, which benefit the communities in the valleys below. Such a designation would be a formal recognition of the mountain's importance and a powerful statement of commitment to its preservation. The story of the Kundudo wild horses is a powerful and inspiring one. It is a narrative of resilience, of adaptation, and of the untamable spirit of nature. From their origins as the lost mounts of an emperor's army, to their current status as the kings and queens of their own mountain kingdom, they have carved out a remarkable existence against the odds. To witness them running free, their manes flying in the wind, against the backdrop of the Ethiopian highlands, is to be reminded of the profound beauty and wildness that still exists in our world. We stand at a critical juncture in their story. For over 100 years, their isolation was their greatest protection, but that is no longer enough. The modern world is closing in, and the threats of habitat loss, genetic dilution, and a changing climate are very real. Without a concerted effort to protect them, we risk losing this unique and irreplaceable piece of Africa's natural heritage forever. The silence that would fall upon Kundudo Mountain if their hoofbeats were to fade would be a profound and tragic loss. Another light of wildness extinguished from our planet. Protecting these horses is about more than just saving a single species. It is about preserving an entire ecosystem. It is about honoring a unique piece of cultural and historical legacy. It is about ensuring that future generations can also experience the awe of looking up at that mountain and knowing that something truly wild and free lives upon it. By safeguarding their future, we are making a choice to value wildness, to respect the intricate connections of the natural world, and to acknowledge our responsibility as stewards of the planet. It is a choice for a richer, more diverse, and more wonderful world. Let us therefore carry the image of these magnificent animals in our minds. Let their story ignite our curiosity and deepen our appreciation for the natural world. Their future and the future of their mountain home is now in our hands. Let us ensure that their legacy is not one of a lost past, but of a thriving and wild future.